right, so welcome to the last episode of this Macronutrients 101 series. So in the previous videos, in the previous calls, we went and looked at what proteins are, what carbs are, and what fats are, and how they benefit us, and also when to use them. However, I thought it was a good idea for us to have a final call on the subject and to put it all together. And now that we have, the information about each of them, I wanted to, how to puzzle it all together, in basically in something practical, okay? Because we looked at the practical stuff as well. But this is like, okay, how do I actually eat in a day now that I know all this information? So how to put it all together, what, why, which, and how, okay? So first of all, disclaimer, we need to understand that calories are king. So although we talk about macronutrients, obviously for weight, so calories are the main influencer. Let me just move this up. It doesn't want to go. Yeah. So calories are the main influencer over weight gain and weight loss. So total calories are always going to be the number one factor that are going to influence whether you're gaining or losing weight. And remember, I'm using the word weight. Okay, this is important before we get into the next step. So calorie surplus, so if you eat more than what you burn, you're gonna gain weight. If you burn more than what you eat, which is calorie deficit, you're gonna lose weight. If you eat and burn the same amount, there's a maintenance calories, and you're gonna stay at the same weight. So normally, I would say, in a normal state, if we're not counting calories, our body will always look for balance. So normally we would be at a maintenance level, especially, if you see that you're always at the same weight, you probably are at a maintenance. So from there, obviously deciding what's your goal. You either need to eat more to gain weight or eat less to lose weight. So calories, regardless of what macronutrients you eat, are always going to be king. For example, there was this interesting study of this guy. He basically said, okay, I'm gonna eat McDonald's every day for a month, for example. I don't remember the actual study, but he said, I'm gonna eat McDonald's, but I'm gonna eat in a calorie deficit, so I'm gonna lose weight. And he actually did, right? So this is absurd, but if you eat in a calorie deficit, you can actually eat ice cream every day, just ice cream, and still lose weight. So, if you're looking at weight gain or weight loss, calories are number one thing. However, the right macronutrient split can influence body composition. So when I talk about macronutrient split, it's basically in a day, let's say we have 2,000 calories in a day. How we split the percentage for each macronutrient. So for example, 30% protein, 30% carbs, and 40% fat, for example. So this is how we split the total calories into each macronutrient. So that's what I'm talking about when I say macronutrient split. So doing this can influence body composition. So body composition is basically the amount of fat and muscle you have in your body. Okay? And that's why I said weight gain or weight loss. Because now, for what we want, which is build muscle and lose fat, this is body composition. And then we need to change what we say, because it's not weight gain or weight loss anymore. Now it becomes fat loss or muscle gain, okay? Not just weight, and that's the difference. So where I'm getting to, if you were to eat ice cream, only ice cream, but be in a calorie deficit for a month, let's say, you will lose weight. But what happened? Because, the macronutrient split wasn't optimal. For example, it wasn't enough protein to sustain the muscle mass. What's going to happen? You're going to lose loads of weight, but very likely you're going to be losing loads of muscle mass as well, which is not optimal. What we want is losing as much fat as possible while maintaining as much muscle as possible if our goal is to lose fat. If we're looking to increase muscle mass, our goal is to increase as much muscle mass as possible while keeping body fat level low or reducing them in the best case scenario. So this is very important. So macronutrient split influence body composition. So although calories are king for weight and fat loss, for weight gain and weight loss, macronutrient split can make the difference for the body composition. Okay? But again, if you want to lose fat, you got to be in a calorie deficit. And then if you don't want to lose too much muscle in the process, you need to have enough protein. So therefore, the macronutrient split enters the game. Also, obviously, we're looking at fat loss, muscle gain, it's all good. But using the right macronutrients at the right time increases performances in two ways. Obviously, as we're going to look in the next slides, in performances in the gym, of course, right? If you're using the right macronutrients around the workout, you're going to have better performances in the gym. So you're going to lift heavier, you're going to lift more, you're going to push harder, which then is going to make the workouts more efficient. And obviously, it's going to have better results overall. If you push, whatever you can push in the gym, whatever can make you push more in the gym will lead to better results. No way around it. Also, it's not just about the gym, it's also about your mental performances, right? We are very, we are very busy and very how can I say? Well, we obviously want to excel in life, all right? So I think it's very beneficial to not only, perform in the gym and look good, but we also want to be the best of what we do. At least, I know you guys are, but, I'm talking about myself. I want to be the best of what I do. So I always want to be on the spot. So I know that my nutrition is going to influence my mental performances as well, and eating the right macronutrients at the right time is going to help with mental performances as well. We're going to look in the next slides. So this is very important. So performances in the gym, which therefore are going to make us look better in the long term, and also performances in work and just mental performances, right? And the last thing, different bodies might need different ratios, so different macronutrients play. So the fundamental rules stay the same. So calories, macronutrients. However, different bodies might need different splits. For example, in my experience, and I can actually see from the body type, some people will do better with a lower carb diet rather than a higher carb, and some people will do better with higher carbs, right? So normally, I can see from a body type, for example, there's the way you store fat in your body, or just, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of ectomorph, mesomorph, endomorph. So basically the shape of your body. So for me, when I look at someone, I can assess or at least try to guess, but obviously, trial and error is always the best way to have a look at this. And basically, some people might do better with higher carbs, some people with higher fats, and so on. Okay, and this is something that we get to learn into this journey anyway. So let's have a look at the actual practical application. So first of all, proteins are to be eaten every meal. Okay, so we have a fixed amount of protein that we should be eating per day based on your body weight, muscle mass, and this is a fixed amount. All right. So what do? We basically just spread this amount throughout the meals. That's simple as that. So if you have, let's say, 160 grams of protein per day, let's say, me, I have 160 grams of protein per day. I just divided that per the meals that I'm having a day. So if I was going to have only 2 meals, then I will eat 80 grams of protein in meal 1, 80 grams in meal 2. Easy as that. If I have 4 meals, I will divide 160 by 4, and that will be the amount of protein that I will have per day. So 160, let's see. So if I have 160 divided by the 4 meals, that will be 40 grams of protein per meal if I eat 4 meals a day. So you just do that. You have a fixed amount of protein that you eat per day, and you divide that by the amount of meals that you eat, and that's your protein amount per meal. Yes, you might be able to play a little bit with this, like for example, as I said in the call about the proteins, because I know myself and I've been able to play with this for a while. So maybe I'll have less protein per meal, the first meals of the day, and then I have a bit more protein at night. But we're talking about maybe 10 grams less in the morning and then 10 grams more at night. This is because protein protein are basically between the macronutrients, they're harder to digest just because that's the way they are. We need to break it down into amino acids. So therefore, they require more digestion, which could slow you down a little bit. Okay, so ideally, you don't want a high. For example, you might experience this if you have a big barbecue and you have loads of meat. Will make you a little bit sleepy, and that's because obviously your body is trying to break down this high amount of protein, and it's taking all the energy and it's making you feel a little bit sleepy, low energy. So I would like to avoid that during the day. Also because I'm gonna be active, I'm gonna be on my feet, I'm gonna train, but I'm still gonna have proteins. Just I don't want a high amount. But if you spread these around your meals, it won't be a high amount anyway. One more thing to say regarding this, of course, you don't need to have so many meals a day. The number of meals that you have in a day, for me, is completely has to be practical. So if you can only have 2 meals, we're gonna work that out. You're gonna have 2 meals, it's fine. I would say that normally 3 to 4 meals is good, a good meal number per day, because it gives you enough time between meal, and you want to also look at, you're normally gonna be if you have a meal, you're normally gonna be hungry after 3 to 4 hours after that meal. It's just because that's how the insulin spike work. Once you start eating, if you're fasting, is different. You can fast for long, but once you break the fast, once you have the first meal, it's normally after 3 to 4 hours your body will ask for more food again. So having 4 meals can basically have you the schedule of meals for the day, is okay, because every 4 meals, so you have 4 meals every 4 hours, it's doable. But again, this is very practical. If you can have 6 meals, and that's how you like it, and you can do it, do it. All right, you're just gonna spread things just accordingly. But there is not like a magic amount of meals that you should be having. That's what I'm trying to say. So fats are better eaten away from training. So why? So fats are a great energy source, however, they can slow down your digestion. And when we train, we're gonna be eating protein before and after. We're gonna be eating carbs, which we're gonna see in a minute, and we generally want this energy from carbs and the nutrient from the protein to go into our bloodstream as quick as possible to make the most of it. And if we eat fats, that will slow down the process. And we don't want too many fats around training, because around training we want whatever we eat, we want it to be available ASAP, okay, as soon as possible. So fats are better eaten away from training, and are better eaten when mental energy is required. So this is important, because I mentioned earlier how the split can influence the mental performance. So fats are a great energy source, and compared to carbs, basically, the fats are good because they don't spike our insulin. So insulin is basically an hormone that we produce mainly when we eat carbs. So whenever we eat carbs, basically our insulin will spike up and then will go down. When it goes up, we will feel like a surge of energy. But when the insulin goes down, we feel lower in energy. So if we eat carbs often throughout the day, we will basically have our energy will spike up, go down, spike up, go down, spike up, go down, which is not ideal for mental performances, because this is actually, when the insulin goes down, you feel tired and you feel like you want to sleep, and you don't really want that, at midday or 3 p.m. or whatever, because that's the time that you're actually active, you want to be on it. So fats will provide energy for these activities, and will give us a steady energy source. Carbs, mainly around training. Easy as that, all right? So carbs are, yes, a great energy source as well. But as we said in the call about carbs are a great energy source for physical activity. So if we want to fuel mental energy, carbs is not the best, for the reason that I told you just now. So we use carbs for training. Why? Because carbs are going to increase our physical performances. So when we eat carbs, we can train harder, we can recover faster, and all these things, are gonna increase our performances and our likelihood of maintaining or building muscle mass. So carbs are amazing for working out and for muscles. Okay, our muscles, they love carbs. In fact, our muscles are the main storage of carbs in our body. Okay, imagine that. So carbs mainly around training, because that's when we need them, and because if we eat them away from training, they can give us these up and downs in energy. So that's it. I'm just gonna have a sip of water. So another practical application is, when I construct a nutrition plan, or when I think about, what I should be eating on a daily basis, let's make it easy, right? We want to make things easy for ourselves. So what I mean by make it easy, I like to pick like foods for each macronutrient, and I want to pick like the purest for each macronutrient. So then basically I'm just playing with blocks. So every meal I think, okay, I need a block of protein, I need maybe I need a block of carbs or a block of fat, and then I combine it together, and there's a meal made for me. So when we look at protein, we will try to favor lean cuts, because obviously a lean cut of meat or a lean fish, or for example like egg whites or lean dairy, will basically be mainly protein and very little fats and very little carbs. Actually, dairy is the only one there, even if it's low fat, will still have some carbs. But let's say, so if I look at protein, lean meats, so like chicken, lean beef, what else? Obviously turkey. I might be missing something. There's also like lean cuts of pork as well. Fish, again, we have both lean fish and fatty fish. If we're looking at tuna, white fish, that's high, basically just protein, like pure protein. So I like to look at food this way. Carbs, again, starches are basically just a carb source, and fruit as well. And then, fats, we have stuff like avocado, nuts, seeds, olive oil, and other oils. Those are basically like pure, almost pure fats. So then what I do, I just pick a block from each, and I compose my meal. That's a very easy way to look at it, right? Other cases, of course, we might have like fatty meat or fatty fish. In that case, there would be, if I eat like a steak, which maybe like a ribeye steak with some fat, that would basically be a protein and fat block altogether, right? And actually the same thing for eggs. Eggs are basically, if you eat the whole egg, is protein and fats together, which is a great meal away from training, right? As we just said. Oh no, this is wrong. So practical application. So again, let's have a look at some practical application. Basically, I want you to think of, all right, so what's an ideal pre-workout meal? So I'm going to explain why I picked what I picked, but this is just, I made it very general and actually made it very simple to understand. So chicken, rice, olive oil, and veggies. So chicken is the protein source, right? Lean, perfect. But again, you can substitute this with anything else. I'm just taking as an example. Rice is a starch, provides carbs before training, good. Now, olive oil. I choose to have some very little fats before training, because we're probably going to have this meal like 2 to 3 hours before training. So what the fat is going to do is actually, as I said, it's going to slow down the digestion, which is going to be good in this case, because very likely before the workout I might have just some pure carbs, and so in this case I actually want the fat there just a little bit, to slow down the digestion of the rice and the chicken, so I can get into the workout still having energy. Otherwise, I'll get hungry too soon. And obviously veggies, because veggies, like protein, we like to eat them every meals, because obviously the macronutrients, the fibers, and so forth. So post-workout. So what I want to eat post-workout, again, proteins, boom, chicken, there we go. Then I want carbs, right? Boom, rice, pasta, bread, whatever, right? Starches. And the veggies. Again, fiber, macronutrients, great. So as you can notice here, I don't have fats on the post-workout meal because I actually want the protein and the carbs to get into my muscles as fast as possible. So I don't want anything that's going to slow down my digestion, because my goal on the post-workout meal is to speed up the recovery process. All right. So proteins, carbs, and veggies as usual. And then anytime meal. So any other meal that is not pre or post workout. Again, protein every meal, right? So chicken, avocado for the fats. Again, I don't want my I don't want my insulin to go up and down, so I'm gonna get some fats to get like steady energy, and the veggies, of course. So again, protein, fats, veggies. This is an example of an anytime meal. That's it. So go back to the first. So this is this is the final call about macronutrients and how to put them together. I hope that was helpful, and we should have now a blueprint for how to optimally use macronutrients, because again, macronutrients are going to make the difference in the body composition. Okay, so if we want to be leaner and more muscular, macronutrients, knowing the differences in how they work in our bodies, is going to make the difference.